I think it's episode number 4 or 5. Don't know, can't keep track. So I'm going to show you guys how to cut the paint, or rather remove the swirl marks off it. And before I do anything, what I like to normally do is I take a little bit of 50-50 isopropyl. This is rubbing alcohol, and then take the rubbing alcohol over the paint just like this here, and what that does is it removes any grease, oils, waxes off the paint itself prior to polishing and cutting, because if you have anything on the surface it's actually protecting the paint. It's going to make your life a lot difficult to cut, and you won't achieve the desired effect you want to achieve. The next step that I like to do is I like to mask off the plastic where I don't want the paint, the polish to go to, because to take it off afterwards is a bit of a pain, and this I learned from the detailer who came to the house the other day to come and detail a customer's car. So just give it a quick testing. Not really too concerned about this here. Alright, so I got a kind of like a wool pad that I got from Crazy Detailer. Give my polish, it's a one-step polish, polish, clean and seal all in one. For those of you that are obviously doing it on a budget, you're not going to be able to cut the paint. It's very difficult to cut the paint with your hands. You'll sit there for hours. This pad has already been primed, so I'm just going to put 4 pea drops on it, and I'm going to dab it onto the paint as such. So the general rule of thumb is you want to work an area of about the size of your shoulders, and that's where you want to work. So this will be my working area, and then on a slow speed you just want to work the polish in. I'm using a dual action, so it's a lot safer than a rotary. So if you've got a rotary machine, sorry, the paint is on. So we don't put the machine on when it's off the car, because all of the polish will splatter over the rest of the car, which we don't want. On there, slowly rub it in, work it in. Okay, so now that it's worked in onto the paint, what you want to do is you want to keep it at a cutting speed of say about 4,004, like that there, and you want to go about 1 second every 5 centimeters, so something like that. So normally they'll do a cross hitch section, but this panel is not as big as opposed to when we come to the door. So when we come to the door, we'll be able to see a lot better how the cross hitch pattern works. But I'll finish up this particular area compounding, and we move over to the next area. I'm not going to do a before and after shot because this will be like this is almost like a demo as to how to cut the paint. Important to note is these lines. So you see these body lines and these body lines. You don't want to hover the machine over these lines because the paint is actually quite thin here. You can actually burn the paint there. So what you want to do is you kind of want to flow it down and then come back up. I learned that method from the guys at the chemical guys. So again, just dabbing it down, working a shoulder length at a time. But remember, this is an all-in-one polish. You can do 4 or 5 steps, 10 steps, or however many steps you want to do to refine your cut. Again, slow speed. So we're pretty much done cutting the paint itself. So what I have in my hand is a pink sort of polish removing microfiber cloth. It's a special microfiber cloth for removing polish. So how I like to do it is I'll take some quick detailer and I'll just spray down the area that I'm going to remove. And again with my microfiber cloth, one direction, one way, just going to remove the polish from there. So there we go, that's just removing all of the polish, one direction. So the quick detailer just assists you in giving you a bit of lubrication when removing it, the polish off the car. But by now your paintwork should be absolutely clean, so there shouldn't be any contaminants on the paintwork itself. Then frequently just turning your microfiber cloth over, just so that you have a clean surface and you're not just spreading the polish around all over. So we'll just do 1 or 2 panels on the cutting process. We're not going to do the entire car. I'm not going to show you the entire car cutting it. Okay, so now that we're done with this part here, we're gonna apply the polish onto the car. Same principle, but before you apply the polish, make sure when you're done with the panel, you clean your pad, you brush it out, make sure the fibers are all good before you move over onto the next panel itself. Don't just go over the same panel with the same pad. So that's what you want to do. And also, oh, by the way, how do you know if you're pressing too firm on a dual action? So on the dual action itself, you'll see that it has these markings. You can see there's a mark there, there's a mark, and there's another mark there as well, a red mark. So if you're pressing too firm against the panel itself, if these marks are stagnant, then you know it's not cutting, it's not doing anything. The pad is just sitting still. It'll actually burn the paint. So when you just wanna keep it a bit firm. With your dominant hand, you wanna hold the front, so you just guide the front down, press down onto the panel, and with your left hand, because I'm right hand dominant, with your left hand you'll just hold the back will just steer it. So what we're gonna do now is I'm going to get the polishing pad, and I'm gonna polish this area here. So we'll do one panel completely, and then on this panel here I'll just show you the cross hitch pattern, how to cut your paint. So let me just get the polishing pad. Yeah, so what I'm using here is I'm using a Lake Country pad with I think it's Chemical Guys or it's Poor Boys, one of the two. It's the product is called White Diamond. Remember, we're not cutting right now, so I'm merely using the pad itself to assist me in moving the product around. That's what I'm doing. So instead of rubbing it with my hands, that's what I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it on a soft setting or slow setting and get the product all over. So again, what I would have done if I had a cameraman or something, I would have held it here and held the bottom of the pad as well and just gone through with it like that there. So that's basically, I'm just going to take this pad off, don't want to contaminate it, leave it on the surface. So that was just the polishing. You can actually use a little bit of a tougher how can I say, a bit of a tougher pad. So the softer the pad, the more softer the pad, the more it leans towards polishing. The harder the pad, the more it leans towards cutting. That's about like the rule of thumb. So you can see the gloss that's already achieved from this one particular process. So the next step of it is my own personal preference step. You don't have to do it. So the guys who are doing it on a budget, they'll apply it with their hands. So look for a product, look for a polish that will actually conceal the scratches. It will have like some sort of substrate on the inside of it that will fill in the scratches temporarily to give you the effect of you know, the clear glossy look that you're looking towards. It's a temporary solution, will last you like maybe 2-3 washes, 4 washes, but ultimately you want to compound the car, get rid of all the scratches, and have a look at that there. So the next step to this here is my own personal preference. I just want to get it ready and I'll see you in a bit. So this next step is very similar to when I used isopropyl or rubbing alcohol on the car to take off the paint. So we've compounded the car, there's polish on the car, and because we use the all-in-one, there is technically like a light sealant on here. But I do have a proper sealant for the car itself. So I want to remove off all the polishing and if there's any light marring and things like that there. The reason being is that the sealant only sticks to a very clean, non-waxy, non-greasy surface. So I like to use a product by Valet Pro. It's called Purple Passion. It smells like purple fruits, like a whole lot of, what does it smell like? Smells delicious. And all you do is you apply very little onto a foam sponge. When I mean little as possible. So just about so much you want to apply, and then just turn your microfiber cloth inwards or the sponge inwards, so you spread the product around like that. And then again in straight lines you just want to apply it to the paint. And what this does is it removes the polishing, any waxes that's still on the car, any oily residue, anything as such. And basically what this will do is give you a clear surface to apply the sealant, which will be in the next video, which I'll do. So what I'll do here is I'll just apply this here, and because this is a light application on it, I'll use the same microfiber cloth. I'll just turn it over. You don't have to let it haze because there we go. So you can see that is a perfect painted surface. Okay. So yeah, so that's it for cutting, polishing. What I'll do is I'll just do a small section on this side here, just to show you guys the cross hitch pattern that I'm talking about. But it will be the same process as this here, where I'll take off the oils and waxes with rubbing alcohol, and I'll cut and go through the process. So where you'll catch me on this one is when I'm actually putting the machine pad to the paint itself, before I'm going to cut it, and then I'll just show you guys the cross hitch pattern that I'm talking about, and that will be it for cutting and polishing the paint. So again, some tips and tricks on it is, when moving from one panel to the next panel, always clean your cutting pad before moving over to the next panel. Those guys doing it on a budget will use that microfiber or a sponge applicator to applicate the polish. If you're doing it again, look for a product that can conceal scratches, you know, things like that there. If you want to achieve a gloss effect like this, you have to use a machine polisher on your particular vehicle. The next thing that you want to do is, if you're using a rotary machine, make sure those indicators are actually spinning. The area that you want to work should be about the shoulder's length, so it should be about so much by so much, so it's almost a 2x2, and you just work one small area at a time. So you split this door into 4 panels. Remember also the edges of the paint has very little paint here, so don't keep your machine too long on these edges. Rather not do it, just to be on the safe side. And when doing it, when applying a polish or wax, when applying a polish onto a car, and if you're going to be applying a wax or a sealant afterwards, make sure you remove the polish and the wax off the vehicle itself before applying, because that will assist you in creating the maximum bond, because ultimately the protection will be the sealant and the wax that is going, whether it's canuba or whatever, synthetic polymer, whatever it may be. Whatever wax you're putting on top of the car, it needs to be clinging to a surface that does not have any grease or other waxes on it. So you want to rub it off with maybe rubbing alcohol, or use a product like that Valet Pro. So I'll see you in a bit to show you the cross hitch section. Let me see before we waste time. Yeah, now it's recording. Yeah, so just like in the other videos, again, 4 small drops, 5 small drops. working the shoulder length area. On this panel I actually took out the door handle that there because I wanted to clean slowest speed possible. Just work that product. There we go. Yeah, now this is the, so what I'm going to show you guys now, this is the cross hitch So that's the cross hitch panel section of it. Can we see this? Are we looking at this or are we looking at me? So this is the cross hitch section of it. So as you can see, you first go horizontally, and on every second pass, so if once you go this way, on your second pass you overlap 50% of the first pass, and then on your third pass you 50% of your second pass. On your fourth pass, 50% of your third pass, and that will give you the maximum desired effect. And then you'll do it vertically, up and down, shoulder width, bed always spinning with the line spinning like that there, on about 3 or 4, maybe 5 setting, and then wipe the panel down, and that's it. And then I'll detail this area here as well. That's why I took it out, and then yeah, so that's the cross hitch panel.